a live gala dinner, which is awesome. It's a great place for everyone to come together. I mean, we got to meet face to face at the gala dinner.
Social can be a very lonely place because there's a lot of people out there doing it, especially now. It is so crowded. Everyone's putting so much content online. It can be, if you're working in an office or you're working in a business and you want to get a leg up on your social, where do you go? Where do you get advice and guidance and inspiration from? So I came across you, I still feel terrible for this. I think it was in the January of 2019, and I think I'd seen an ad or I'd seen something, and I think it was about the awards. And I hadn't heard of the Institute before, and I think I chewed your ear off for about an hour and a half, and you convinced me to become a member with the Institute, but also put my hat forward for the awards. And I like a few accolades here and there, what agent doesn't, but it actually changed the course of our business. So I had been struggling not struggling, but coming from an agent to a marketing agency owner, trying to that transition period to be looked at as a marketer, to get those accolades with the finalists badges at that time. All of a sudden my phone really started to ring, and I don't know if it was the credibility and all that kind of stuff. So I suppose to kick it off, how does the Institute help people? And this is not just pertaining to real estate, but where do you guys add the value?
Well, for me, my background is actually in the fitness industry. So that's where I actually learnt my skills when I actually grew my fitness business from, a couple of locations here on the Gold Coast to actually having locations around the country, Darwin, Perth, that sort of thing. And being part of the Australian, Fitness Australia, they had an opportunity for you to go for awards. So what I did is same as you sort of were like, oh, should I not? Yeah. I entered. The first year, nothing. I didn't get anything, and that's just awards. I obviously didn't have quite what it took for that first year, but the second year, I became Queensland Personal Trainer of the Year, and then I became it's Exercise Professional of the Year, and then I became Australian Exercise Professional of the Year. Yeah. And that, as you said, with the awards, it transformed my business. I had people ringing me up who never probably would have rung me up. Yeah. I had people wanting to look at partnerships. It just gave visibility, it gave credibility, it gave a lot through marketing. So when I decided to transition out of the fitness space, got a bit stale over there, and I was loving social media and how much it brought. Yeah. I decided, instead of going into an agency, I wanted to create the same thing that Fitness Australia created for the social media industry. I mean, there was a lot of people who were doing social media, but there was nothing that was helping give support, direction, particularly for marketers who were, like you said, we're all, especially with COVID, doing it in our own spaces. And, like you said, it can be lonely. Even though we're being social, it can be lonely. And it's such a fast moving and paced industry. It's also hard to try and keep on top of everything. So the Institute helps to keep you up to date with what's happening.
And that's actually one point that I do want to cover off on. But before I get to that, it's one thing that I just want to put it out there. I'm not an advocate for the Institute, anything like that. I'm just telling my story. I know because I was at, I think it was the second gala dinner that you had down here for the awards. And what I really loved, and I think you encouraged this when the finalists were announced, was because you gave the names of everybody who was a finalist. And I was really surprised to have the other finalists reach out, because in real estate, it's a dog-eat-dog world. Everyone started connecting, and, everyone really started connecting and wishing each other well, to the point where the hard part was last year, I was up for a couple finals for a couple, but the really hard part was you were up against your friends. People that, and there's no egos, and you've obviously got the closed Facebook group for members and stuff like that. And what I love about that is you can ask a question and there's no ego. There's no competitiveness. B from B Social, I had a really good chat with her. She's a member of yours in New Zealand. A really good chat with her towards the end of last year, because she does a lot of training gigs and that kind of thing around New Zealand. And I wanted to put something on. So she was the one with help. I think you guys ran a presentation course, a Zoom meeting one night as well. Mm-hmm. And that was around that time when I was really starting. So we went to do the live thing, COVID, in December. We took it online and we had over 1,100 people attend.
Awesome.
Now, we were only planning for 30, but that was through the help of the Institute, but also having that guidance and the backing. I never would have had that had I just kept going myself. So it's
just that confidence too, isn't it? It's just that confidence because you have the ability to do it.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's when you're doing something a bit different, it's good to have other people who have already experienced that to just say, hey, have you thought of this? Have you try this?
Yeah.
And you know what? You're going to be amazing.
Yeah. But it's also because you're working with other industries as well, not just real estate. So you kind of,
yeah, true.
You sometimes get a bit stale in your own lane, whereas it's kind of like, I don't want to sound like I'm not the strongest marketer. I'm probably very aggressive, but not the strongest. But it's, you know what you know, and if there's not someone higher than you or doing something different, it's how do you grow? So I love watching what everybody else does, and the beautiful part is we talk like amongst ourselves. I've got a member 2 or 3 hours down the road. We intertwine sometimes, but he calls me if he's got questions. I call him probably more when I've got questions. And it's just a really nice, healthy institute. And the members, everyone's there to help each other at the end of the day, which is rare in business.
I know. And I think that's something that I was always very much, I've always driven, is that having a closed mindset where you feel that it is dog eat dog world.
Yeah.
To me, that's a closed mindset. You're not going to have the opportunities to grow if you have an open mindset. One, there are so many clients out in the world. Yeah. I mean, I know you might be in certain geographical areas which might lend itself to that competitiveness, but you don't have to be that aggressive. You can be open, you can help each other, and then everybody lifts, and it helps the industry in itself lift. And that's one of the goals that I have for the social media industry is, it has sometimes in different areas a bit of bad reputation, and we want to be able to take that and be able to change that that thought process, help with ethical frameworks and things like that will actually help lift the whole of the social media space.
Well, look, even with some of the members, just a couple of examples I've got. The guy down the road, he does the car industry and a bit of real estate, which is fine. Mine, I'm probably more niche real estate. I'm in it, I breathe it, I live it. So I'm all over that. But he has different aspects of his business. I'm good for the strategy side of stuff, but when it comes to the chatbots and the funnels and all that kind of stuff, he's stronger. So as a business owner, I'm like, well, hang on a minute. Why don't I utilize your skills? Because your skills are going to help my clients, which helps my business. But the other flip side to that is you've got another member in Perth. I was having a really difficult time towards the end of last year with online bullying, and it was really, really difficult. And one of your members over there had gone through something very similar, and I could reach out to her, and she was checking in, and it's just that camaraderie kind of stuff. Whereas, we're in 2 different states, very similar clients and that, but her approach to her business and hers is different to mine. So everyone, like you were saying, there's enough clients out there. Everyone's got their own little bits and pieces, and you can take a bit from there, and mold it to your own. And I've had people ring out with our portal and things like that. How do you structure it? And all that kind of stuff. And I think everyone's willing to help each other, which is awesome.
And I think that's probably one of your first big key success strategies is to change your mindset and be open to opportunity and to be open to collaboration and to be open to, thinking that there is enough people out there. Yeah. And if you have that more open, positive mindset, you're going to attract people to you instead of being that person that everyone goes, oh, he's somebody who just stabs everyone in the back. I mean, people don't want to do business when they know that about people. Correct.
So coming into the first one, what we were just, I guess, saying is that social media is a very, very crowded space. COVID forced everybody online. So for agents at the moment, my thing is I see a lot of success stories, and it's look at me. Social, the one thing I really try to ram home to people is I personally believe I'm having way too much fun for a grown man on TikTok at the moment.
It's great, isn't it?
You see the memes, like you get on TikTok and 4 hours later, you're still there. That is actually me. I do wake up at 3:30 and I'm on there. But I go to TikTok now for entertainment. and a release, because, and as I'm sure you probably know as well, when you're on, say, Facebook or Instagram, for instance, for me, it's just becoming marketing. It's just ad after ad, sponsored ads after sponsored ad. How can an agent break the mold with so much content going out there and so much pay for play? How can an agent stand out on Facebook and Instagram, for instance?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think too, TikTok's a great opportunity as well. Like, I bet a lot of agents don't even think about TikTok.
Yeah, I did search on that the other day.
Yeah.
There's about 5 in Australia. When you Google, Google Sydney real estate, there's about 5, and I'm one of them. And it's...
Well, see, that's a great opportunity. Like TikTok is amazing. Now, I use it. I don't use it professionally for myself. I've been using it just as a bit of fun. I actually use it for my dog. And funnily enough, my dog, I put a video up about my dog this week, and it's had 750,000 views on the last video. Now, where can you get a place where you can get that kind of like views? I mean, yes, it's a dog, but I see real estate agents, I see all different types of people, interior designers.
Yep.
They're using TikTok as a way to share. And one thing that people are very hungry for, and I've noticed this on TikTok because I'm actually one of them, is I love doing those home inspections on TikTok where they take you through different types of homes, particularly if you're at the higher end of the market, doing these high end where they take you through, and I look for the interior design for my own house, and there's so many ways, and that's where I guess I take the thing back to Facebook and to Instagram, to use some of the things that TikTok are using. Video, it's so important. If you are just whacking up ads and putting them on Facebook or Instagram, you're going to get crickets because people just do not care. They're overwhelmed. There's too much noise. You've got to change it up. You've got to change it up. You've got to use video. You've got to use video to tell the stories. Now, I want you to focus again. It's not on doing little ads and trying to replicate what happens on television or billboards and putting that into your video. You need to tell stories. So you need to, if you're going to go and sell a property, what is it about that property that makes it desirable? And not just the features of the property. Tell the story about the property. What makes it unique? What makes it so that I look at that property and go, wow, that's got a great story. I want to go. I want to know more about that property. Well, the same with. Sorry, I just got a bit of a frog in my throat. The same as with I was going to say with agents. A lot of the time, it's look at me, and it's look at me and look how successful I am, and I actually get for me the cliche of the real estate agent driving fancy cars and whatever. That doesn't work for me. I would want to know more about the real estate agent. I want to know about you. I want to know what you love. I want to know who you are. I want to know your story, not in an ego way, but I'd like to know more about who you are behind the scenes. But the thing that I think which will set a real estate agent apart is to take themselves out of the story when it comes to selling a home and put the stories of the buyers or the stories of the sellers. That's what's going to be rich, and that's what's going to set people apart, understand those rich stories about people.
And I think the problem, or not the problem, but I think the, I don't know, I can't think of the word, but the way, even when I started in real estate 17 years ago, it was hustle. I know, I've had a lot of work done. It was hustle. You showcase your results because that's how you got business. Now, social media becoming such the beast that it is, it's more compassion, it's more education, it's more informative. Especially with COVID, as you were saying earlier, a lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of people have lost money. A lot of people are going through a really difficult mental health time at the moment because there's so much going on. You showing off your new car or your Rolex could actually do damage.
Oh, I totally agree. Like, it's not about you. The story is about the people who are the story. It's about the clients. They want to be able to see people and properties that they can go, I can see me there. I can see me in that situation. And you're right about the education side of things. The more you educate, and I mean, I know where to start, is to sit down and write 25 questions about questions that people ask them all the time when it comes to real estate, and then record a video that's only a very short video. We don't want a long monologue of information. We just want to have short, sharp, if you can do it under 90 seconds, not always possible, but if you can, then that is a really great little snippet of answering somebody's question. If you do that every single day, and you can batch the content so you don't have to go and show up on social media and record every day, that's actually not good time management. Sit down one day in the week. You could even do it one day in the month and batch. You could batch 30 questions in 1 month and do it very quickly if you had a little bit of preparation and if you've got somebody to help you to write the questions down. And then just quickly answer them on video. If you don't have the time or the resources or the nuance or the knowledge to know how to do that, on Fiverr or different places, you can get people to do video editing very cheaply. And then boom, you've got 30 days of content where you're answering people's questions. You're building yourself as an authority without saying, look at me. You're being helpful. And then you can repurpose that on all different platforms. You can put it on TikTok. You can put it on Instagram. You can put it on stories on Instagram. You can put it on Facebook. If you do a bit of longer form, put it on YouTube. And then YouTube has a lot of great SEO. So then if you're answering a video and putting that video on YouTube, and YouTube has YouTube Shorts now, which is like a TikTok short form on YouTube, which YouTube is giving a lot of love to because they want it to be successful.
And TikTok's introduced 3 minutes as well. Sorry, but
Yeah, well, that's right. TikTok's just expanded to 3 minutes, albeit TikTok is a very short attention span platform. So I don't know how 3 minutes are going to go.
Oh, no.
I generally find 15-second videos are like the bomb on TikTok because people can easily watch those and consume and they're ready to keep moving. But if you can connect with a person with what you're showing, even in 15 seconds, they will go through and look at all your, what you have to offer. And that's much better than, just saying, hey, look at me driving around and I'm successful. No one really cares if you're successful at the end of the day. They care what you can provide for them. Because remember, it's what's in it for me. That's what everyone's going to be asking, whether that's your product, your services, your content, what's in it for me that I want to spend my time and energy to watch.
And I suppose the one thing I'll say to our clients is when they're on social media, they're in a different headspace. So they don't want to be sold to. If they want to be sold to, they'll go on the major portals. They go on social media to escape real life, to be entertained, to watch the cat videos or the dog videos. And I've seen, so there's one girl in Melbourne, I did an interview with her about TikTok. I put something up the other day because I think when you kind of get the vibe of, and for me, I think TikTok's a different vibe to Instagram and Facebook. So you've kind of got
it is.
And there was one, I don't know if you've seen it. I think it was RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under or something where it's like, is it me? Am I the drummer? I don't think I'm the drummer. Am I the villain? I'm not sure if you've seen that one. But I put something up the other day and it's going off. Like because you know how the voiceovers, the memes and all that. And I did something as far as real estate agents being blamed for this hot market that we're in at the moment. And it's kind of taking the trends that are relative at that time and finding a way to incorporate it. So there was a lot of messages and stuff that came back from that through the Instagram story because you can still download it from TikTok, upload it to Insta. But coming back,
and put in Reels.
With Reels,
you can put it in Reels, which that's a bit of video within Instagram, which they can sort of work quite well between TikTok and Reels. Like that still works together. And
coming back to what you were saying about asking what that your audience wants to know about. When you emailed me the other night and said, yep, we can do it this morning, I put straight up on Instagram story, hey guy, I got the CEO of the Social Media Institute joining me. Do you have any questions you want me to ask her while I have her? So I've got a couple, but it doesn't have to be a full production. I mean, if there's stuff that we haven't covered, or I'll probably go for a walk up the street later, I'll get the phone and say, hey guys, someone asked me about this, bam, 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 bam. And that's all you need, right? You don't need to go into a full-blown production. Just walking down the street saying, hey guys, was asked on Saturday, blah, 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 blah. I mean, is that okay to do something like that?
Oh, definitely. The full-blown production video actually can work against you because, people want to see the real you. And people feel that when you have a production, full production with your video, it's a false reality, if you know what I mean. Like it's all, because they know it's all airbrushed and it's all looking perfect. When you whip out your phone, you say, hey, look, I'm here. Look at this. This is, and then you be real.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you stuff up, because people, it actually, and funnily enough, endears you. I've done a live where I had my phone set up and I was talking, and then my phone tipped over and fell down. And I mean, when you're live, you can't go, oh, stop, edit, do it. You just have to roll with it, and you laugh and you just be real, and people actually love you for it.
Yeah. Well, but it happens to everyone.
Oh, it does. It does. I mean, we've all had those instances where we've had dogs and cats run in front of us while we're talking, or someone knocks, you get the courier who knocks at the door, or, that's okay. I mean, people understand. And I think COVID in some ways has actually relaxed things a bit, because people have just had to be real because they've had no other option.
Yeah.
And I think that that's been a good thing.
Yeah.
But something you raised before was about research.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that's really important is, if you don't know where to start, jump online and see what people are doing in other parts of the world. I mean, we always look in our own little location about what people around the corner are doing.
Yeah.
The first thing I do is I jump and look at what people are doing overseas and see what they're doing. So I go to the US, or I go to the UK, or I go to different parts of Europe or whatever.
Yeah.
And I want to see what they're doing, because they have a different location, they have different thoughts, they sometimes could be a bit more advanced, or, they have different ideas.
Yeah.
And it just gives you a bit of fresh input as to what you could do.
And you stand out, like you're saying, if everyone is doing what everyone in the local area is doing. Classic example, okay, here in Double Bay, in about a 300-metre strip, there's about 10 offices. If every office has got, let's say, 2 agents, there's 20 agents, sales agents in that one area fighting for business. And if all you're seeing is a lounge room, just listed post, the agent in front of the signboard, the testimonial, where do you stand out? And the funny thing I find with social is everyone wants to stand out, but no one wants to stand out. No one wants to, you know what I mean? No one wants to, I don't want to do that because I'll be judged. Like, no one else is doing that. But if we come back to the picture of your dog, so the video on TikTok, 700,000 views, was it?
Yeah, she's had about 6 or 7 videos over 1 million. Her biggest video has been seen by 7.8 million people.
I think my biggest one was about 4,000. So I'll have to get a dog. So
hey, no, I was going to say a dog is an easy way to get. You could use a dog to sell your real estate if you really wanted to.
Can I borrow yours? But they are, like puppies and kittens and all that kind of thing. They are on social. So the one thing I get asked a lot is, what is a result? So people can look at my stuff and they're like, mate, you don't get a lot of likes or comments. And for me, actually, I'm not going to say it. I'll just ask you from the head. Where should people be looking and determine the quality of their content? What are the metrics?
Well, I think if you go to the point where you say, and like you just mentioned, about different, those vanity metrics, I guess is what you'd call them, where there's the likes. I mean, hey, great, a dog gets all these likes, but, it's not business, and then you can feel downhearted if you are starting out and you go, great, I just went live and I had 1 person watch.
Yeah.
And you think, I'm a failure. Well, do you know what? You've made a relationship with 1 person, and that 1 person can can make a difference. We've got to get over the whole vanity metrics of, if we only get 30 likes on something, that we've failed somehow. We've had 30 people who have actually connected with our content. And the thing is, if you go along by just looking at vanity metrics, you're going to get downhearted. Yeah. What you need to do is you need to start showing up, and showing up regularly. Whether you get 1 like, 2 likes, 20 likes, 1,000 likes, you've got to just be regular, because that's the only way you're going to build a relationship.
Yeah.
Then you've got to look at, well, what happens? What am I getting people to do? How am I going to take that interaction from being on social and get them into my business?
Yeah.
How do you look at creating opportunities? Now, you can look at things that, when you start sharing information, you might then have a quick little cheat sheet that summarizes all the great points you've just given. Yeah. You can put a link for people to download that sheet. So then you've got their email address. Yeah. Social is the gateway to building the relationship. It's interesting. It starts the relationship, it nurtures the relationship, but you've also got to take people off the platform and put them into your other marketing, which is emails or things, because that's where the business is done.
Yeah.
You're generally not going to sell to somebody on social. Hey, come and buy this house, and someone goes, sold. They're not going to do that. Generally, there are always going to be the differences.
I sold my own personal property a month ago through Instagram.
Did you really? I love that.
I did. But no, you are so right in what you're saying. The funny thing is, and I've got about 1,400 followers on my Nick Friend Instagram, and I get it all the time. You're supposed to be a marketing agency. Why don't you have more followers? And what I really want people to understand is, if I wanted 10,000 followers, I can go and pay $500 and have them within an hour. They are not real followers. They're warm and fuzzies. They're not going to bring the business in, as you said, but I've got a good following of 1,400 people that want to see my content. But the deals are being done behind the scenes. They're being done in the DMs. They're being done in the email. So coming off the email, and if we look at like a lead gen form on Facebook, for instance, the one thing I find agents, they're not yet committed to spending big money on social media ads. So a lot of people are happy to drop the $20 on a boost. Is dropping $20 on a boost going to do anything?
Yeah. I just want to, just before I answer that question, I just want to double back about talking about buying followers.
Yep.
Can I just say to anyone who's watching, never buy followers. Never, ever, ever buy followers, because you might, again, it's a vanity thing where someone goes, hey, why don't you have 10,000 followers? You go, great, I'll go buy 10,000 followers. Well, it actually works against you when it comes to the algorithm, because they're basically fake accounts or people from overseas who will never engage with your content. The more followers you have that don't engage will actually impact how many people see your content. So by putting fake followers, you actually are shooting yourself in the foot. And it might look good from a vanity perspective, but Nick's 1,400 people who actually engage, like, share, comment will have more traction than a whole bunch of people. So I just wanted to quickly double back before we head on to the next thing. So what was the question again?
Well, no, but before we get back to that, but it's obvious too, though, isn't it? If you see someone with 14,000 followers and they're only getting 3 or 4 likes on a post, the first thing I think is, oh, they've bought their followers, and it takes credibility away. That's what I see, because I can go and dump it, or you can go and pay for likes and comments, all that kind of thing.
Yeah, so, and when you go back and look at the names.
Yeah. I know where you're going.
I was going to say, when you look at the names of the followers, you can see, because they come from certain areas of the world. Yeah. And so suddenly you can see that they get a high increase in people who are not in their location. Correct. And that is a dead giveaway. So, yeah, I just wanted to address that, because that's where a lot of people go wrong. And they think that if they buy followers, that they're going to suddenly, like, kickstart their social media and they're going to suddenly do really well.
Yeah. So the follow-up question to that was the lead gen forms on Facebook.
Oh, yes.
We get a lot of people who are just happy to dump $20 or $30 on a boost.
That's right. Yeah.
And again, coming back to the fact where not everyone can afford a marketing agency like ours, something like the Institute, which is a yearly once-off fee that they pay every year. This is the kind of guidance and education you get through the Institute. But is wasting $20 or $30 on a boost going to do anything in this market when everyone's pay for play?
Well, I mean, obviously Facebook and Instagram are a pay for play platform now. I mean, to get anything organically, I mean, you've really got to do something that stands out. And again, like you said, you're competing with cat and dog videos and all different things. So, you know, people have very limited attention. So yes, it is a pay to play platform. Yep. Now, doing a boost, I would always say to somebody, well, what is the purpose of that boost, unless you truly understand the demographics of who it is, what you're offering, and whether you've got something that is going to work for you. I'm somebody who, yes, investing in an agency might feel like it's a lot of money, but when I see how much agents are dropping on letterbox drops, like my letterbox is chock-a-block full every single day. I mean, I'm in a suburb at the moment that's really hot, where they're literally selling before they go. But so there's lots of agents in our area. Every day I would get masses of amounts of letterbox flyers and I literally take them out of the letterbox and I throw them in the bin. Yeah. Now, if an agent took the dollar spend, because you've got graphic design, you've got then the printing costs, and then you've also got the person who goes and delivers them, you can have somebody actually do your work and be able to zero in and target and niche. Because remember, when you're blanketing a neighborhood, you're hoping that you're going to find somebody who might meet the ideal buyer, where when you are on social, you can literally, if you understand all the demographics of your ideal client, of who your ideal buyer is, you can literally zero that ad in. And now if you start to go and do an ad and it's not converting, you can turn it off in an instant and stop the flow and then look at pivoting or adjusting, whatever. Where when you blanket a neighborhood, if it doesn't work, then the money's gone.
And you've only got one shot to do it. Letterbox. And I don't know how many times it's happened in my career when there's an error. The wrong time is on the letterbox drop, or the wrong date is on the auction. But like you were saying, as far as zeroing in, where agents really fail is you've got a database already with your CRM, with all your names, numbers, and email addresses. Download that, put that in the back of Facebook, and then it's really direct targeting. I mean, we're coming into spring now. I'm saying to all my guys, download your potential vendors and appraisals. Let's create some targeted ads on getting ready for spring. Now, if you drop, let's say, $500 or $600, or I'd prefer $1,000 on an ad, that is going to get in front of those people. Number one, you're offering good, useful information. You can change the ad up at any time, and you're really hitting your marketplace. And I mean, here in Rushcutters Bay, here it's apartment central. $1,000 letterbox drops is not going to get you very far. Not when you've got apartment buildings everywhere. But $100 on an ad, $100 you could reach. I don't know, 5, 6, 7.
Depending on the competition of the day, how many people that you can actually connect with. But it's definitely targeted. I mean, like I said, you can't go in there without understanding who your market is, because if you say everybody is your market, and this is where you take that broadcast approach, and this is where people go wrong on social media. They take the broadcast mentality and they put it into social, and it doesn't work, generally speaking, unless you've got really deep pockets. Where if you go and say, I understand who's my niche, like you might have 30 real estate agents in your area, but not all 30 agents are going to sell the exact same property to the exact same people. There's going to be niches within that space. When you understand who your demographic is, you understand their pain points, understand how the properties that, and the issues in real estate, and you can answer those with content that really connects. And then you push it out using advertising to reach those ideal people. And I love where you take your database, upload that into Facebook, and then target your database who are already warm to you. Warm marketing will always kill it, as opposed to cold marketing.
And the one thing that we're seeing with COVID is, with work from home, people are trading the 2-bedroom apartment for the bigger property because they're spending more time at home now. We get actually so many calls from agents in the Southern Highlands, for instance, which is about, 2 or 3 hours south of Sydney, to run their property ads here in Sydney. So you can't, you're not going to drive 2 or 3 hours to a letterbox drop up here, but you can actually put your ad, think, okay, this ad could work really well, like Newcastle. Newcastle is becoming about a northern suburb of Sydney at the moment. So we're getting a lot of Newcastle agents marketing their ads here, and it's just phenomenal what you can do and how you can position your ads.
Well, what's actually interesting is the suburb that I live in on the Gold Coast, we've gone up massively in the last 6 months. Like the house prices here have gone through the roof. The people who are buying are not people on the Gold Coast. The majority of buyers are Sydney, Melbourne.
Right.
So if a real estate agent in this area is trying to market to people in this area, well, unfortunately, a lot of people in the area that I'm in are being priced out of the market because Sydney, Melbourne people, and they're coming and buying property sight unseen, which blows my mind, but they're buying sight unseen and they're dropping over $1 million on a property. Now, if you were a smart, agent, you would go, okay, well, if there's Sydney, Melbourne people who are looking for a sea change, you would then base your advertising about telling people, sick of the rat race of where you are and the cost, come up to the Gold Coast where you can be 5 minutes to the beach. You can have a big property with the pool, with the lifestyle, and you're now doing all your work online. You've got the sea change you're after. That's how you will attract people. And like I said, they're dropping houses in my area, over $1 million. People, and they're selling before they even go to market. Like they are literally just dropping.
But that you just gave the headline and the caption to the ad, whether it's on social media, on realestate.com. Don't put as your caption just listed 23 Smith Street, Smithfield. Are you sick of the rat race? Work from home opportunity. Yeah. That's when people are on social media, that will be, especially if they've had a hard day or it's just taken, especially here in Sydney, an hour to get home. Are you sick of the rat race? That's going to resonate with someone online rather than 23 Smith Street, Gold Coast.
Yeah, you want to sound like, say, want to sit in your tropical backyard and work from home?
Yeah.
You know, change your lifestyle and move up to the Gold Coast, and you can do all your work online. And, you know, like, it's about selling the lifestyle, not the property. It's, again, we go back to features and benefits. You know, if it's got a pool, yeah, that's great. I mean, that feeds into the lifestyle, but you don't just sell those features. You know, you want to sell the lifestyle. That's the thing you're doing. And with that, you've got to think and change maybe a little bit the way you do what you do.
Yeah. Okay, to wrap it up, because I've probably kept you long enough, why don't you give the Institute a plug and we'll put that in there.
Okay, perfect. Well, the Social Media Marketing Institute has a lot of different ways that we help members within the social media industry space, or people who are small business owners, or you know, in business in general, to be able to learn about social media. And so we have a very, you know, when it comes to price, it's a very small fee for a 12-month membership. You get access to being able to connect with other people within the Institute. You get masterclasses. We have different conferences and summits. We've actually got in August the Social Media for Small Business Summit, where we share a lot of different things when it comes to social media. We have awards where people like Nick enter,